Greeting to my respected panel, Professor Dr. Juhaini Binti Jabar and my supervisor Dr. Muazza Binti Abdul Aziz. Welcome to my final year project presentation. My name is Korisha Bragalathan, fourth year student Bachelor of Technopreneurship BTech. The title of my final year project is Practice Effective Contactless Payment Application in the FinTech Environment. A brief explanation on background of study. In today's era, traditional transaction is getting faded because of almost thousands of online mobile retailers allow their customers to pay via contactless payment applications. But in Malaysia, the acceptance rate is still lower than the other countries. Next, the problem statement. Wakitika has stated that almost 90% of all payments are done cashless in developing countries. Although there are users who make their payment using online banking, but FinTech application mobile penetration is just 40%. The lower FinTech mobile application among Malaysians is because they not enough knowledge on contactless payment application and also being influenced by those who dissatisfied with the data shared via online during transactions. These are the research objectives and research questions that have been developed by the researcher in this study. The scope of the study is focused on 4 independent variables that affect the adoption of contactless payment applications. This study conducts via distribution of Google Form among the generation Y in Malaysia. The total respondent that the researcher targets is 385. In this slide, the researcher focused on the operational definition. The operation definition are mainly focused on define the variables and keywords that have mentioned in the research. In this literature review, the researcher has been focused on 4 independent variables: trends, security challenges, privacy information, and performance of contactless payment application, which has been focused in this study. This literature review has been explained on what the previous researcher has been focused on. Next slide will be the theories. These are the 2 theories that the researcher has been focused in this study. First one is technology acceptance model, and the second one is innovation diffusion theory. Both these theories have certain constructs in common. Previous research merged these 2 theories to provide a more strong and acceptable model than the individual model. From the reference of the theories, the researcher proposed a conceptual framework which shows 4 independent variables affect 1 dependent variable. According to the slide, the trend, security challenges, privacy information, and performance of contactless payment application affect the adoption of contactless payment application. Next will be the hypothesis development. Here are the hypotheses that have been developed by the researcher in this study. This part will discuss on the research methodology which the researcher has done in this study. The study has been designed as an experiment-free because the approach is suitable for conducting quantitative surveys. The researcher used both primary and secondary data collection methods. On the other hand, the population and sampling has been determined based on Frenchy and Mohanty rates. The total population that has been chosen by the researcher are 385 respondents among Generation Y. In order to reach the respondents, the researcher developed and distributed the Google Form survey to the targeted audience via social media. For the data extraction, the researcher utilized SPSS version 27. Next part is data analysis and results. Pilot test is the initial step before a researcher disperses the survey. For this test, the researcher disperses 30 sets of questionnaire to respondents as the pilot test. The official poll will be determined after the after effect of pilot test is dependable. The combat alpha outcome for the pilot test are 0.938. In pilot test, the base is an incentive. For each cron when alpha is more than 0.7 is better. Analysis reliability means being consistent. It is the degree to which an instrument that different times will deliver similar results at the same people. Reliability can take 0 to 1.0 value. Next is descriptive statistics. This table refers to the variables which have the highest mean value among the independent variables. This is correlation analysis. In this table, it shows the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables. If the correlation value is more than 0.7, it indicates as a strong relationship. The multiple regression analysis. The multiple regression has been done to determine the most significant factor or variable that affects adoption of contactless payment application among the users, on the intention to analyze the most significant factors that influence the contactless payment application. Summary of hypothesis. This table indicates all the hypotheses are significant and acceptable. Discussion and findings. This result indicates the adoption towards contactless payment application affected by security challenges by 40.4%, followed by privacy information, which is affected by 31.5%. According to the interpretation, the researcher found the most significant factor that affects adoption of contactless payment application is security challenges. In conclusion, the goal of the study was to accurate a better understanding of the factors affecting the adoption of contactless payment application. The researcher can conclude that there is a significant relationship between some of the factors and have a strong beneficial effect on the dependent variables. There are 4 recommendations that the researcher like to recommend to the future researcher. First one is, the future researcher can relate contactless payment application with the other elements other than security challenges and privacy information. Second, future study should be focused wider scope, include all age groups. Third, future researcher can use mixed method, which is quantitative and qualitative methods, to get more information. And the last one is, future researcher can include more relevant variables to provide wider range of insights. Theoretical contribution. The findings of the study, technology accepted models and innovation diffusion theory, both theories help the researcher to identify the most significant factors that affect the contactless payment application. On the other hand, practical contribution. This research can be used by the government, lecturers, policymakers, and users to have more understanding on adoption of contactless payment application. The lecturers can use this research paper in their lecture section as a guidance to the students to run their future research.